Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and I am super excited to be here today with my guest. She is a former award-winning singer and TV presenter for who knows firsthand the inner turmoil of stage fright and self-doubt. She walked the path of deep transformation through the highs and lows of life as a woman, a partner, and a performer. For years, she adapted herself to fit in, often led by narcissistic men in both business and personal life. In trying to be liked, she lost connection with herself. But that version of her is long gone. After years of therapy, growth, and radical inner work, Katja now stands for something entirely different. Presence over performance, truth over approval. As a transformational communication coach and creator of her own method, she helps others reclaim their voice and step into their visibility, especially those who were once told to dim their light. It is my pleasure to introduce you to you, Katja Verderber. How are you, Katja?
I'm great, Cesar. Great to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for being here. I'm super excited, and the one thing that I enjoy just by reading that you've gone through a lot of different things, and the fact that you have taken your life back, I think that's huge because I believe that a lot of people, unfortunately, given whatever circumstances, they just get stuck and they don't know how to find their way back to themselves, right? So I definitely want to tap into that. But before we go there, tell me about your upbringing and where are you originally from?
Yeah, so hi everybody, or Žujo, as somebody would say in my language.
Ah,
I am a Slovenian girl, brought up in Slovenia, born in Slovenia, a small country in Europe. I guess the reference point where people don't have to now go and search for the map is that Melania Trump actually comes from this country. She was born here and raised here. And I am born to a nice, loving family. So I guess in this time of life, I could say that I was a privileged child, knowing how awful things are going on around the world. And yeah, so believe it or not, I never lived abroad. I have traveled a lot, but I
okay.
never lived anywhere else than in my country. It's a beautiful country. It's got 60% of the woods, forestation, beautiful lakes, mountains, coast. So it's hard to leave this country. But yeah, I studied English, I guess, in a way that I really started talking really well. I think I have to thank Michael Jackson for that. I started listening to his music since I was a little girl,
Yeah.
and I am very grateful for my upbringing, for the fact that I could go through all the education I wanted to go through, the fact that I could learn languages and travel the world. I think traveling is the university of life.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I love that. So, talking about again your upbringing, right? You mentioned that you would consider that you were born into a privileged family in terms of well taken care of. They love you. They care for you. Um, and the reason why I ask that is because sometimes what we go through as a kid in our early years, growing up, that can show up in a different way, right? And some of the things that you had to essentially face growing up, based on what we're talking about in your bio, is that you had to prove yourself, right? You have to prove yourself not only in the workplace, you have to prove yourself as a female, you have to prove yourself even in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
To an extent. Yet you didn't grow up seeing that probably because your parents were very loving. How and or why do you think that was the challenge for you growing up?
I think that, as much as my parents loved me and still love me, and as much as I respect them, parents, and I'm also a mother,
Yeah.
so I know that we parents definitely do mistakes by loving our children too much or
Mm,
trying to protect our children. We start with a lot of advices. And I think advice is not a good way to support somebody in their life. And that's why when I'm speaking to my child, for example, I never go, I think you should do this and that. I always go, how do you feel about doing this or
mm,
that? Whereas I was quite guided, I must tell you, my true dream was becoming an actress.
yeah.
But you know what? I never tried to go down that way. I am an actress in an amateur way. So I've always been part of theaters, but I never went and pursued the dreams because I was advised to go into more business oriented studies. And there you
Got it.
go.
Yeah.
Now, where I am today, I would say I'm still grateful for that direction because it has taught me a lot how to present myself, how to sell my products, how to be forthcoming, outgoing, and how to be polite, respectful in business. Definitely. But do I still think about would I make it in acting? Of course. I will never forget that I never tried, at least tried. Because if I would try, I would now know whether I could make it or not.
Yeah, yeah. You said something that I was actually just talking about some people that I also do a little bit of coaching over the weekend. And I believe that family members, parents in particularly, and let me know if you believe you coincide with me on this, but I believe that they're there for your best interest. Specifically, if they're um definitely looking at your best interest and want the best for you, they're definitely there to protect you, right? And so sometimes in the process of them protecting you and giving you that, you get that, except they're not there to help you grow, right? They're not there for that growth that you need. They're there to protect you from what might seem uncomfortable or the unknown or don't do this or don't do that.
Mhm, mhm,
Whereas sometimes, and I know you do some of this too with your coaching, is you're there to grow the person out of whatever they're going through, that circumstances, right? And so that's a big differentiator that people don't recognize, that well, sometimes while family mean well, they're
mhm.
not there to grow you, just to protect you for what could be the best thing that you need, right?
Right. And I did most of my stuff in life, like even becoming a singer. I did it because I was a rebel. I
Okay,
wanted to
gotcha.
go. I did it because I wanted to prove something.
Right.
So there you
Yeah,
go.
definitely. So let's talk about that. I do want to touch a little bit about that because I think it's interesting. So you've were a TV host, you were a singer. Tell me about that experience, right? I mean, even just kind of doing that, and then how did that make you feel, and what happened, right?
Yeah, so I became a singer at a quite old age because nowadays a lot of child prodigies are becoming very young stars.
Mhm.
And I only released my first song, I think I was around 28, 29 years old. And I did it because I just had enough of everybody and everything.
Mm,
Everybody who was telling me what to do, what path to take in my life, including the men I was dating. My last partner was really excruciatingly horrendous towards me, trying to put me in a little box. And I just said to myself, that's it. I'm done here. And I went and I worked with musicians in the past. I was doing PR for musicians for
mhm,
bands. And all of a sudden, this guy comes to me. He was part of a band I was presenting and trying to manage. And he said, I have this song, and none of the Slovenian singers really want to sing it.
mm,
And the song was called Ciao Ciao, like Ciao Ciao in
okay.
Italian.
Yeah.
And it was very funky lyrics. Of course, you have to be a bit more funky to sing that. But I said, that's it, that's me.
Let's
And
see
I
it. Yeah.
built a character around it. I called myself not Catherine the Great, but Catherine the Short,
Hmm.
Catherine the Small.
Yep.
So I was trying, because I'm quite short
Yep.
in size, and I wanted to prove to people that small people can achieve great things.
Yeah.
And when I released that first song, it became a hit, which is almost incredible because that usually doesn't happen. It takes sometimes decades to make it, you
Mm,
know.
yeah.
And I was unprepared for that. I must tell you, Cesar, it was quite overwhelming. All of a sudden, everybody knows you, you're all over the media. I did know from my marketing communication skills and from my PR skills, I knew how to present myself and talk. I
Hmm.
knew how important it was for the journalist to be interesting, to say something around the story, not just answer yes or no.
Hmm.
So I did really good then, and media started loving me as well. So with my next songs that were following, it was a great success. But all of a sudden, I felt in a few years' time, and after I had my child, he was 2 years old. I realized I'm feeling really empty being on stage, giving all the love to the audience, but not being at home.
Got
So
it.
that's when I decided I want to stop. And also, being famous and being out there on the stage, it may look good on the outside, but it's not necessarily great.
Yeah, definitely. Because, and I think it goes back to what you uh, did a lot of the work, right? You find yourself, as you mentioned, empty, and
Yeah.
you get yourself lost in the process, right?
Yeah.
To that extent. And then the TV presenter, was that prior to that, or after the singing?
Yeah, that was actually in combination with the
Okay.
singing. So I
Yep.
did a lot of other jobs like commercials, and then I was offered to run a show, and I did 3 seasons of that show, which was really, really incredible experience. Amazing people around me. Loved that time, loved that era, and gained so much knowledge. Again, it took a lot of time from the family, but my family was very supportive, and the decision that I wanted to stop really, really, truly came from me, not from the pressures of my family. So I'm grateful for my husband who supported me in that time. But television, yeah, television work is also interesting. You see, musical industry and television industry in Slovenia, they're run by men.
Mm,
It's men everywhere.
right.
And
Yeah.
that is interestingly challenging, even though I'm quite a grounded persona and I feel I'm quite strong in my character. Back then, I wasn't. I was feeling, I had low self esteem. I didn't feel good about myself. I felt I wasn't either pretty enough, smart enough, good enough of a singer, because also singing came from amateurism, not from professionalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I struggled so much sometimes to step on that the stage and to be out there, proud of what I do, that I had to go to find some help. And I found help in therapy, psychodrama therapy.
Okay.
And that was so mind blowing. It was unbelievable. The change that did, like in my perspective of how I perceived myself and others, that now for the last 2 years, I am helping people to get on that stage of life. I don't need to teach people to only go on stage in front of thousands of people. I teach people to go on stage of life, I call it,
Mhm.
being meetings, board meetings, employees who have to deal with their bosses, somebody who has to sell something. I help people overcome the experience I had to overcome. And what I do is I try to do it in the nicest possible way, kindest possible way, which is with the self-worth,
Mm.
bringing out the self-worth.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting how sometimes while you're working through doing something for yourself, you discover something that, hey, if I'm doing this for me, how can I do this
Yeah.
for somebody else? Right? And it sounds to me that that's what happened to you,
Yeah,
in the
but
process of
yeah,
that,
yeah. Because
right?
I already knew how to behave on stage. I have all the knowledge from theater, music, and television.
Yeah,
You will rarely find people who have the experience from all three
right,
worlds. And I know all the technicalities, how to behave, how to smile, how to use your voice,
right,
how to stress the important messages. But it was the inside, this inner feeling, like how can you really speak from the heart?
right.
And that's what I was lacking. And that's what I gained through the psychodrama, which I am also studying. So I'm the third year of psychodrama therapy, and I'm
Okay.
using the tools of this amazing modality
Hmm.
to overcome stage fright, to overcome this self-image that is poor, to overcome also the trauma from institutions like schools or parents or families in general.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's huge. One of the things that if you were to ask, and do a survey, um, a lot of people are more afraid to do public speaking, right? And will rather die than anything else in this world. And it's crazy, right? Sometimes, like, so you're not afraid to die from a plane crash or something. Nope. If it happens, it happens. I'm more afraid to get on stage
Yeah.
and be seen
Yeah.
in front of people, even if it's only one or two or three people,
Yeah.
yet I got to be in front of people to do that. And so I think the fact that you're helping people through that, but not only helping them through that, but really helping them redefine and find themselves more than anything, and don't have that void. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And so, tell me a little bit about that, because you overcame a lot of that. You overcame
Mhm.
narcissism. You overcame, just being the little person and not really
Yeah.
doing that. And then I think, going back to what I said when we started, people are getting lost and they're
Mhm.
doing all these things for other people that they cannot find themselves. And without realizing, they're really neglecting their family, themselves. And before you know it, we're here today and we're gone tomorrow, right? And
Yeah.
so tell me about that and that experience for you.
Yeah, so overcoming that is a long process. There is no magical button. So when
Mm-hmm.
I get clients, for example, I tell them immediately, don't think you can come for 1 hour and expect a miracle.
Right.
This is, also I compare it sometimes to studying foreign languages, but it's nowhere near, because I say, well, you don't come and try to speak Italian in 1 hour, do you?
Right.
But I'd have to tell this to the more arrogant people, the
Yeah.
people who think they know something, but they just need a little help. And I go, no, 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 this is not how I work. So, as I said, I know all the technicalities, but to overcome, like we
Mm-hmm.
said, this stage fright, it's a bigger process, because we were born and then something or somebody or some situations put us in a little box where we couldn't shine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what really matters, that we as social beings, because we really are, we humans, we need to be part of a community.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we're loners, we
Right.
have to go out there, we have to communicate. So one part of the stage fright that is huge is that we care a lot about what others will say.
Mm. Yeah.
And, this is a huge process. So, how to think that we shouldn't care about what others say is that we have to come on the stage with a different goal. And I often tell my clients, what's your goal for this presentation, meeting, performance, anything? And they go, what's the goal? Well, I need to, survive this. And I go, yeah, but if you go and just survive this, you won't give anything to the audience, and the audience will tear you apart.
Mm-hmm.
You will give them the meat, you will give them the
Mm-hmm.
bone, they'll go,
Yeah.
like dogs.
Right.
They'll go, oh,
Yeah.
you suck, you were really bad.
Yeah.
So what if you change your mind, and you go, I want to go there and give the audience something. So you change your perspective. You don't go like, oh, what will they think about me? But you go, what can I give to them?
Yeah.
And instead of just saying, what will I give to my audience? You also set a little tiny goal for yourself.
Mm.
Okay, my gift for the audience will be this presentation, but the gift for me will be that I will either try to enjoy it, um, you know, um, give myself some gratitude for making it, celebrate after I'm done. Just a little tiny goal also for yourself. And this changes the whole perspective on how you prepare for that public speaking moment.
Mm.
As we said, whether it's in front of one person or 1,000 people, it does not matter.
Yeah.
And the transformation truly happens when you change from what will they think to what will I give.
Got it.
A lot of times says that it happens that people come, but what will they think? What will they'll say? I'm stupid. Like, I don't know what I can give to the audience. And I always go, well, you're obviously invited to that meeting or to that event for a reason. Let's think of the reason why you are there, not why you shouldn't be there. And see, it's all perspective. It's all just perspective. Of course, answering those questions really quickly will not heal you. It's more looking into the who has put you there, what has put you there, what situation in life. So I like to go sometimes dig in the past a little bit, find the source of this trauma or this displeasure or this feeling, this emotion of not being worth enough or good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start from there. This is where I start the work from you.
Yeah. Got you.
And then so sorry to
yeah.
quickly answer, this is where I had to start also. I had to go from feeling not good enough to being just enough.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you, because I think that's good. And Obviously you're gonna have people in all different levels, right? Some people are more I guess more afraid, or they're I wouldn't necessarily say broken, because I don't think anybody's broken, but they're in a different place, right, than other people, right?
Yeah.
So for those that are probably further down the path of getting what they want, right, they might have a little bit of is this really gonna work, right? I get it. I want to do this, and how did I start that process? Because even if I get on stage right now and I see one person just at the corner that they're like probably playing on their phone or not paying
Mhm.
attention to me, or maybe
Yeah.
making these gestures, then
Yeah.
now me on stage or speaking, I might feel a bit, uncomfortable. And now it's like, okay, is this not gonna work? And then they kind of forget, or maybe in their mind they rewire the idea of, I should have done this, but not because I'm thinking of this person, I cannot move forward. So uh, tell me a little bit about maybe some steps or things that somebody can take to kind of start overcoming that,
Yeah.
even now.
Okay, so I would say that it's never one big step. You can only do baby steps in this. So expecting that you will become as good as Barack Obama, for example, as a speaker, it's impossible, especially if you're the one who will always hide behind others, or who will always raise their hand last.
Right.
What you have to do is set yourself tiny, tiny goals. And once you achieve them, be proud of yourself that you achieved them. So, for example, when you go to a mall or a shop, try to use your voice differently. Try to be more presentable. Try to be more forthcoming, and do little changes. And then when you're at your work, or when you have to confront somebody, try to do something a little bit, extra, something
Mm-hmm.
more. For example, if you're afraid to go to your boss and present your idea, try to go to your boss and set up a meeting for the idea
Mm-hmm.
and see how you feel about that. So the only way to overcome this huge fear of losing your audience, and when they go on their phones, because this is exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
When you lose your audience, they switch off their brain,
Right.
use their phones, and that's it. And that is the biggest fear. This is also my biggest fear. What I do as a very knowledgeable speaker, I engage my audience so much with my energy, with my voice, with my presence, so much that I don't lose them. I keep the eyes on me. But for that, I had I have to do a great presentation, hours and hours of preparation, practice, 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 practice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, huge thing. And when people go, "Oh, you look so natural," I tell them, yes, the authenticity and spontaneity come because I was prepared. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't believe me. They go, "No, I want to go out there and just speak from my heart." I go, "Yes." And that comes with hours and hours of practice.
Yeah.
Now, not to scare our listeners,
Yep.
I would like to say that anything is possible. Anybody, even the quietest little mouse, can become a great public speaker. This isn't something we were born with. It's something that maybe certain people are a bit more talented about, but definitely anybody can learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
not and to not lose your audience, you have to sweat it.
Mm.
Come on. I mean, if you're just going to come up there or in front of somebody with a mediocre presentation, and you're going to think, "Oh, 15 minutes, okay, I got 15 minutes, all I have to do is survive this," people will perceive you like this. They'll just go, "Oh, when is this going to finish?"
Yeah. Right.
Because this isn't like when you go and present your books, you probably give it your all. You give all your
Right.
energy.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, and part of that is too is wanting that change, and wanting to make a difference too, right?
Mhm.
And while you may not have everything figured out, and there's things that you have to work on, you have to
Yeah.
have the desire and the wanting to make that work, right?
Yeah.
Um, I have here in my notes something that I think is pretty awesome. And you said, above all, trust your inner calling.
Yeah.
Your voice knows the way. You have to trust it. Go from invisible to irresistible, not by becoming someone else, but by becoming more of who you are. Never
Mhm.
doubt the choices you're making, even when it hurts, especially then, right?
Yeah.
So I love that message, but kind of going back to this, go from invisible to irresistible, right?
Yeah.
Because I think we're always a lot of people that are challenged and need to overcome, whether it's a relationship or a boss, whatever, or anything like that. They feel like they're not being watched and they're nobody, right? Um,
Mhm.
how do you become irresistible for people? How do you attract those people? Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in the job, right? Because I think too, I like the fact that you've overcome both those things, right? Or or multiple things. But a lot of things happen in relationships too. A lot of things happen where you have the significant other that not supports you or makes you feel even lesser than, and then
Yeah.
you take that to the workplace or to the public or to your exterior life, and
Mhm.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things that even you had to do. You had to like figure out something so that people didn't think you were going mad or crazy or delusional, right? So
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So to become irresistible, it's not about the looks. It's not about the how much money you've spent on your clothing or on your products,
Mm-hmm.
especially for this is a message for women. I have nothing artificial on me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do any fillings, fake lashes, nothing, nothing, nothing. And I have made that decision because I believe that people will remember me from my energy much, much more than from my words,
Yeah,
and much, much more than from my looks.
yeah.
So people are investing, especially nowadays with social media and everything that's going on. They're investing in the wrong thing. Instead of investing into the presence and to ground themselves with feeling they are truly valuable, and that they have something good to give and share,
Mm-hmm.
they're investing into the plastification of themselves,
Mm.
this masking themselves. But you know what? I sometimes say I go to meetings and I'm wearing nothing special. I
Yeah.
could be all in black.
Yep.
But when I walk in, I own that room. I own those people. And I don't do it narcissistically by walking over dead bodies like everybody look at me or I'm going to just, be really rude to you. I do it with I have something to show. I am worth of standing here in front of you and giving you something extra. And sometimes, by the way, this isn't just about my work. I'm talking about also just being present.
Right.
I'm talking about things. So, what I invest in mostly is information. I like to be knowledgeable. I like to research people. I like to prepare myself for the moments I'm going to go to. For example, if I'm invited to events, I'm going to research who are the organizers or the people that are going to be there, or who am I specifically meeting. I do a little intel,
Yeah.
somebody would say, and I become irresistible with the way I talk,
Mm.
with my presence. That's it. Sometimes I will just I have gray hair already, and sometimes maybe I show a little gray hair, or
Yeah.
sometimes I don't feel I put enough makeup on me, or I'm a bit tired, and people actually see that I'm tired, and they go and ask me, "Are you a bit tired?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm a bit exhausted lately," but still, I give it my all in those moments when I'm present.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if I will feel the sweat on my back, I will give it my all.
Mm.
That's how you become irresistible, by people remembering you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a member of BNI. I don't know if you know BNI. It's a
Mm.
Business Networking International. It actually comes from the States. It's the
Okay.
biggest networking group, and it's all over the world. And people, I can go to any group in the world, and I know that people will remember me for my 30-second presentation. I get phone calls and I go, "Hey, I remember you. You had a really good presentation." And I
Yeah.
say, "Yeah, because I gave it my all."
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And I love the fact that you do that. And you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to you got to be at your best, right? And just regardless of whether it's, who you're talking to and how long it is or how you're feeling, I think comes down to that. And um, it reminds me of some of the things that I talk about. And it really comes down to your communication, which is
Yeah.
composed of your physiology, your tonality, and the words that you use when you're speaking to
Yeah.
people, right? And I
Yes.
think that you're taking all of that and putting it together to be able
Yeah.
to say, here, I am the new me, right? And I
Absolutely.
think people need that. So tell me a little bit about your coaching program, the things you're doing. How do you what is that composed of? Or I'm sure it's different person to person, but just give me the overall idea.
Yeah, so I do one-on-one coachings and I run workshops.
Okay.
Soon I will start running workshops also internationally.
Okay.
I work with small groups. I really need to see the people, feel the people. I can't do Tony Robbins,
Right.
thousands of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. For
I
sure.
really have to feel this heart to heart. That's how I work currently. And I
Yeah.
really wake up satisfied. I
Yeah.
wake up every day satisfied that this is what I do. But on one-on-one sessions, Cesar, honestly, I really give my everything.
Mhm.
Sometimes I teach people the speaking fitness, and sometimes I have to teach myself the
Yeah.
fitness to working on one-on-one because I give my all to each client. And usually I start, so I do 60-minute sessions.
Okay.
And the only thing I'm asking my clients is to be consistent. Like, don't come once a month and then come in 2 months again, because then we lose the process of connecting and
Hmm.
also the process of improving. So the only thing I ask is people that please let's try to be on a regular basis, at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. I give my clients little homeworks,
Okay.
tiny, cute little homeworks to start observing themselves, how they talk to somebody in the shop, to observe how they're speaking to their partners, to find somebody they really adore the way they speak, or find a role model. And then I start working from how do they want to feel on the stage and how do they currently feel, of course, because
Mhm.
obviously if they feel bad, that's why they came to me.
Right.
What I do that is very, very different, probably from most coaches, is I combine the psychotherapy modality of psychodrama
Hmm.
with the work of coaching.
Okay.
Because what I do is I go look inside. Why is this bad emotion coming out? Why do you feel you're not worth the presence, the audience clapping you? Why do you think everything is going to be wrong? And I start from there. And then I started building slowly, slowly, baby steps, little homeworks, little processes. And then, of course, what I do is I record it all so that my clients really see the progress by themselves. Often I get, a lot of times people come because they have ums and ahs. And then when they say,
Mm.
oh, I didn't have any ums and ahs today, and I go, okay, let's see. And of
Yeah.
course, they had plenty of ums and ahs. That's why video analysis is so important.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And then, so are you the one-on-one coaching? Is it anywhere in the world or that you're working with?
Anywhere in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long
Okay.
as people speak English, of course, or my language, which
With
is
your language. Yeah.
Slovenian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love to work in English. I love English language, the way I love how, Anglo-Saxon people are really good in presentations, good in, because you see, I come from a part of the world where we used to live in socialism. Everybody was provided for. And
Mm.
the only, what was the message in the 70s and 80s was don't shine too much, just don't stand out from the middle. Stay in the middle, get a little job, and you'll be fine,
Wow.
And
Yeah.
now in this world of materialism, capitalism, people are struggling.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Because of
helping
that.
them stepping out and shining and allowing themselves to use the voice.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm using my voice in different
Yeah.
dynamics all the time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I
Okay.
have
No.
a website which is called italk.live. This is the domain. But to invite our listeners, I love to invite them to winyourclient.com.
Okay.
And by subscribing there and just giving me your email address, and I promise I never overwhelm people with too many emails because I
Yeah.
don't do that. But I will reward anybody who will make that first step with a great video with 3 amazing tips.
Oh, awesome. Love that. Love that. So are those the two best websites where people can find you?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And then in terms of it sounds to me, that you've gone and done a lot of work for yourself. So tell me a little bit about your habits. What are some of the things you do that you must do or they do on a daily basis to help you, be this person that you are and help you stay up front of your day?
Yeah. So what I do is I even in the challenging times when people who are narcissistic, because there's more and more narcissism in the world right now.
Yeah.
And it's spreading like a virus, really. I guess some children are being taught that at home, to become narcissistic, to become very egocentric, and it's all about the big ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ego is, of course, very important for us to survive, but the way we treat it is, of course,
Right.
very
100%.
important. And yeah, what I do is I am being kind to myself, in the sense that I can speak my thoughts, my mind, and nobody can tell me to shut up.
Okay.
And when I present myself with respect towards others, I believe I deserve that respect in return.
Mm-hmm.
So believing that I deserve this is the biggest thing that I do on daily basis. That nobody can just squash me like an ant.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody can just step on me.
Right.
And if you believe that what you will say is important enough, then people will also perceive you like that.
Yeah.
So people have to, the mental change is, I am worth it. I am worth it. That's the big switch. Because if you wake up feeling, I need to, oh gosh, I have to go and see those people or meet those clients. Oh no, I don't want to. That guy is so rude to me. You know what I do with those rude men who are really strong in business? I confront them feeling like we're totally equal.
Mm.
And it's important that I never look at people like that.
Right.
I never look up. I look, even if they're taller, which most of them are,
right.
I do this. We are equal.
Yeah.
You're on the same level. Even if people in front of me are multimillionaires, I think that we are the same. We both are, we have blood under our skin. We all have problems. We all have challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that didn't come in easy. Like, to be able to do that, to be able to see somebody in the eye, to be able to level to their level, right? Even if they're, again, have a lot more than you, that's not an easy thing to do. And I'm glad that you have been able to overcome that. And I know that with the things you're doing, you are helping people through that aspect. So that's huge. Katja, one of my last question for you. This definitely is great, and I really enjoyed all the information you've shared with us. And it seems like you've done a lot of great things to be able to get to where you are right now. For the people that are watching and the people that are listening to us, if they're going through any challenge, whatever challenge that might be, what is one or two things you can say to them so they can start overcoming that challenge?
That even a baby step is a step towards a change. And no changes and no great stories come from nothing. They usually come from some form of struggle, some form of process. Look at yourself. You've come from somewhere. Look at the people that were, like Tony Robbins, or people like Barack Obama. He's a great example of becoming a president of the United States, which is only reserved for elitistic people, in the United States. He's come from almost nothing, I would say, and all the way. And just believing that anything is possible. Never say, yes, I want to do that, but exclude that but, because that but is already stopping you.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, I want to go to my boss, but I am scared of him. No, I want to go to my boss and speak to him about something. I am slightly afraid, but I will do my first baby step to overcome this fear.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I love that. That's huge. And along those lines, words do matter. Words do matter. And the things you're saying to yourself and the things you're saying to other people definitely do matter. And in that example, I agree with you. When you're thinking about the butt and all this other things, you're already setting yourself for failure, right? So definitely
absolutely.
change that dynamic. So no, that's awesome. Well, Katja, again, thank you for being here. Really appreciate everything you share with us. Anything else do you want to say before I let you go?
I would just want to say to our listeners today, if you have taken only one insight, only one little tiny information to your heart, that's already a success for me. That's already a little change that we've made together with Cesar.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you again, Katja, for being here. And for the rest of you guys, don't forget, go ahead and check her out. I talk that live so you can connect with her. And do me a favor, please make sure that you share this message with somebody else because somebody definitely needs to hear this. And I'll see you guys at the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino. Katja, thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.